quiet.
Talk your own. Make Naija better.
You see me, I must talk my own.
Talk, no be wahala. Talk your own.
I go talk am. You say, talk your own.
My voice.
Your voice.
Our voice.
Make we talk.
Talk your own.
Talk your own. Make Naija better.
This is Talk Your Own, Make Naija Better, and welcome to another of our town hall meetings where Nigerians talk their own with leaders and decision makers. My name is Uche Nogo, and today we are in Enugu, in the heart of Enugu State, to discuss effective representation at the National Assembly. How well are our elected leaders responding to the needs of citizens? Are bills and constituency projects benefiting the electorate? And how accessible are our representatives to ordinary people? Our guest today for this important topic is Deputy Senate President, Senator Ekweremadu. Senator Ekweremadu represents Enugu West Senatorial Zone and is also the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament. Senator Ekweremadu, welcome to Talk Your Own.
My pleasure.
And here in the hall with us today, we have a wide range of Enugu citizens who are eager to put their questions directly to the senator about how they are being represented in the National Assembly. Please, a round of applause for yourselves. I'd like to remind our listeners that you can make your comments today on the program on our Facebook page, Talk Your Own, Make Naija Better, and also on Twitter. Our handle is @TalkYourOwn. So let's go right to our audience question. And we'll start today with Barrister Chibuzo Cranwell. You sent in a question.
My name is Barrister Cranwell Chibuzo. How can we
From where?
From Amokwe. How can we institutionalize legislative outreaches from the National Assembly such that before voting at the floor of the House, people who are being represented will, as a matter of right and law, have the opportunity to so speak and dialogue with their representatives?
Please, over to you, sir.
All right, let me first thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity and the privilege to interface with my constituents and the good people of Enugu State. I'm indeed impressed that our development partners are actually supporting us in this dialogue. The issue of constitutional outreach is an ingredient of a representative democracy. So there are certain things that are inherent in democracy. And one of them is the issue of constituency feedback. So you don't need any particular legislation. The difference between military regime and the democracy is that in military regime, you don't owe any person an apology, you don't account any person. But democracy involves that accountability. So, but in some places, it doesn't happen because either the politician or the representative claims that he's too busy, or sometimes where you have problems, executives sometimes try to frustrate that opportunity, so that you don't have that direct contact with their constituents. So, but otherwise, that is the basis of democracy. You must find time to meet with their constituents and tell them what will be going on and get a feedback from them. Tell them what you are doing, and then they'll be able to tell you maybe how to do it much better. Also have a feeling of what they need. Beyond that, the issue of voting and the need to consult. Basically, the principle of democracy involves people's power. So when you have that implies sovereignty, it means that sometimes you have to take the decision on behalf of the people. But it's also important that from time to time, in major issues, you need to go back to them and be able to get their input in what you do. That's why when we did the constitutional amendment, because we considered it to be very major, we had to consult widely, including holding public hearings at Abuja, at the states, at the zonal level, and had consultations with our constituents.
How well are we doing when it comes back to representation in terms of big issues?
Well, definitely, that's why I said that when we are dealing with the constitutional amendment, we made it compulsory, even though it's not part of the provision in Section 9 of the Constitution. But it became part of our own guideline to resort to our people at different levels. because we knew that constitutional amendment is something that is fundamental. And of course, you are aware that in most legislations, we do a public hearing before we go into the clause by clause, what we call the third reading. So at that opportunity, we allow people to make input, including our constituents. So we involve people as much as possible in big issues.
All right, we'll take a second question, and this one is from Florence Ifeanyi Aneke. Florence, please raise your hand. Okay.
Florence Ifeanyi Aneke is my name. I'm a constituent from Umabi. Your Excellency, I understand that you have over 140 projects to be executed in Enugu West Senatorial Zone. Out of these projects that are supposed to be distributed in the 81 wards in the Senatorial Zone, I know there's no doubt you have done quite some work in the area, but I'm still worried there are some projects that are still outstanding, especially in the area of road construction. The Umabi, Ehuhe, and Achi Road, the sum of 50 million naira was budgeted for this road in the 2013 budget. And as at June 2014, nothing has started in that road. And I begin to wonder if you will finish this work within the short time you still have in this administration. Okay. And there's another cottage hospital in Omana and Diago. The sum of 100 million naira was budgeted for this project.
That's where?
Omana and Diago is uncompleted and has been abandoned. And the people of this area, they have to travel very far to access health facilities. And I would like to know your plans to see that this hospital is completed within the time you still have. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, over to you.
Okay. Well, thank you for acknowledging that we are doing 140 projects. I can assure you there's much more than that. That would be at the last count. Maybe we'll be talking about our document of 2012. We've since exceeded that. But let me also say that the issue of road construction, projects and all that, are basically things we do in addition to our legislative responsibilities. The basic job of a parliamentarian is to make laws and then to oversight the executive. We came up with the idea and the concept of constituency project because we discovered that the way projects are executed in this country and the way they are even formulated leave some people out of the loop. So, but we believe that if you distribute projects through the representatives, it means that every part of the country will be able to make inputs through their respective constituencies. So that's why each year we make a provision in the national budget for constituency projects. And these projects are now distributed amongst the parliamentarians in respect of their respective constituencies. So that's how this issue of the work we do came about. So the issue of the Umabi road, I'm surprised you said that nothing has happened. I don't know when you went there last because I inspected the road myself. That's the one that goes towards where they have the church. You know, so it's either you've not been there lately, and what I'm talking about is about 2013 when I went there last. So I'm sure if Emeka is there, I'm sure he'll confirm this. Is Emeka here? So that project is ongoing. We also did a water project at Obabi, which I've also since commissioned. But there's a road that leads up to the place where they have the water project. We would have started work on that because the day I went to commission the water project, they requested I should help them with that road as well. And I was prepared to do that. But later the state government said they are going to do it. But the one I promised to do, if it's not completed, it must be limited a little because I inspected the road myself.
I know that the federal project is from the one that links the Ehu and Achi road. It's supposed to be under your...
Yeah, but you said that nothing is going on there. I will tell you that that is not true because part of it is already completed. So the team that is here, if they want, they can go from here to the place and take photographs and we can take off from here and I go and show them the road. The issue of the cottage hospital, I'll still find out what, if it has not been done, what is this? Because that must be an MDG project. You know, so it's not a constituency project, it's an MDG project. So, and again, sometimes some of these monies, you'll be able to influence how much there will be in the project for this. But the issue of implementation and execution and the release of the funds are things beyond their control. So you do as much as you can to get the executive to release the money, but you cannot really force them. So if this money don't come as much as you have provided for, then there's hardly anything you can do about it. So, but we're going to ensure that whatever project we attract will be completed while we're in the National Assembly.
At this point, I'd like to remind our listeners that you're still on Talk Your Own, Make Naija Better. Today, we're in Enugu State for another of our town hall meetings where Nigerians talk their own with leaders and decision makers. Our guest today is the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ekweremadu, who represents the Enugu West Senatorial Zone. All right, now we'll go to the audience. Our audiences, if you do have a question, please raise your hands. If you have a question, okay. Let's take a question from the gentleman on the left side of my left, at the back.
Thank you. My name is Chief Dr. Paul Anikwe from Ezagu local government, your constituent.
Okay.
My question is, how have you touched the lives of the ordinary people of your constituent?
How precisely?
In terms of, we have people who are so poor in nature, can't even afford the school fees, can't afford the health, and these are constituents. And touching somebody positively in life, that's what I mean.
Okay.
What we do is that we engage our constituents at two levels. The first, at the level of parliamentary intervention, which is where the issue of attracting project comes in. We'll be able to deal with the infrastructure within our senatorial district. Let me just give a few examples. Before I got into the Senate, and I stand to be corrected, there's no place, not even one particular hamlet in Tianini local government with electricity, not one. But today every village in Aniri can boast of electricity. There was once no single meter, not talking about kilometer, 1 meter of asphalt road in any part of that local government. But today, all the major roads in that place have been asphalted. Then there was no water project, nor any completed. But as I speak to you, we have about 12 billion naira dam going on in that place. Before I got to the Senate, the water that comes to Enugu comes from Oji River. But there's no part of Oji River that can boast of water. Today we have completed study on the Greater Oji River Water Project, and this year we provided money for it. It will soon be awarded, and it will provide water to every village in Oji River.
So how come someone like him doesn't know all about this?
He's not saying that he didn't know. I'm coming. Now, at a personal level, I set up a foundation known as Equal Foundation. We set up an adult literacy center in almost all communities I represent. And I hire teachers to teach them how to read and write. As at 2 months ago, they graduated. There are over 600 of such women. And most of them now are in secondary school. And I feel very proud of it. Some of them can today send text messages. They can sign their names. They can open bank account. They can recite the national anthem. And they can engage you in conversation. We have a number of our children who cannot complete school because either their father died, their mother died, or something happened along the line. So we decided to provide grants. And as at last count, I'm sure we have done over 3,000 to 4,000 of such interventions.
All right, we'll take the next question from Igwe Ejiofor, a traditional ruler. Igwe Ejiofor, where are you? Thank you.
Your Excellency, my name is Igwe Ejiofor from Ezema, Imezawa, and Ezagu local government. Ezema, yeah? There's an erosion control project you brought into our community.
Yeah.
That project is almost half abandoned and it's causing a lot of problems. My question is, do you know that that project was not completed? And if, what efforts are you making to save the community from that menace?
Fine.
Do we have someone else with another question? Yes, the lady on my right.
Now let me just quickly deal with this one.
Okay, all right, go on.
Quickly, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Your Highness, I want to thank you so much for drawing my attention to the uncompleted project. As I said before, the fund for constituency projects from where we intervene in our communities are also limited. So because it's limited, and we have a whole number of people we are representing, so what we try to do is to distribute these projects in such a way that every community, every ward will benefit. And because the money is also limited, now you discover that if you now want to do, say, 10 kilometers of road or 5 kilometers, it will be possible for you to complete one in a particular year. If you do that, it means that others will suffer. So we distribute the money we have across the senatorial district equally. If, for instance, that year road is 5 kilometers, and the money we have for that particular year can do 2 kilometers of that road so that others will also benefit. We'll do 2 kilometers. Then the following year, we'll keep funding it. So if it has been started, which I believe it has been started, it's going to continue because each year we'll keep funding it. And I can assure you that it must be in the 2014 project. So once the monies are released, the contractor will come back to site. Just be rest assured, as long as we're in government, that the project will keep going until we get them finished. We've done other projects like that. I've since concluded them.
Okay, if you do have questions, it would be nice for you to raise your hands and let's hear from you. The lady in front, the lady in front here. Yes, please. Thank you.
Your Excellency, I'm Onyeko Debunam. I'm a member of your constituent by association because I run an NGO that works in your constituent. Okay. I want to find out, Your Excellency, what mechanism do you have for monitoring and evaluation? Because I am aware and I've monitored some of your projects. For instance, right now we are working in Mbabwa or Zom, and we are aware that there is water wasting there. We are equally aware that for the past 2 years, you already have pipes for reticulation of that water in the waste palace. But up till today, that project has not been done. So I'm wondering, are you aware what mechanism do you have in place to monitor this constituents project and to be sure they are done, and if they are done, they are properly done? Thank you.
Well, I thank you so much for raising the issue. I must admit that I can never be in everywhere at the same time. It's like giving the responsibility my people have given me. So what I've done is to walk through people, and they give me feedback, on a daily basis. I try as much as possible to find out what's going on, to compare what they're telling me. Like, this is the booklet of what we are doing. So I have a way of monitoring what we are doing, making sure that the report they are giving me, matches what's on the ground. Just like when someone was talking about Omabi, and I said I was there myself. I visited a number of these projects. I take time off. Sometimes if I'm in Enugu, I may just drive out to go and see what's happening in the ones I can do. I got worried about that Mbabua water. In the course of my campaign, I saw the water. The water has been there for over 20 years and nobody's doing anything about it. I decided that we're going to harvest that water and reticulate it. So that's why I saw those pipes. So I'll be surprised if that has not been completed. I have my men from Ezag who are here. So if there are frustrations along the line, we'll be happy to deal with it. I don't want to go there again and see that water gushing out. I want it to be in people's houses.
And I'll go right back to our audience and would like to take questions. Please raise your hands. The gentleman at the extreme right, yes, we'll take your question.
Thank you, sir. Ewu Patrick, a student from Department of Mass Communication, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. On constituency projects, I really want to know if, or rather, who received the funds for the project, who the funds goes to.
Now, the issue of how constituency project is processed is a very good question, because for the past 10 to 11 years, I've been trying to address this question, and people keep asking it again. What happened is that we provide a total of 100 billion each project, starting from the days of Yaradua. We agreed, we negotiated it, that the National Assembly will make an input of a total of 100 billion in the budget that will represent what we call the constituency projects. Out of this 100 billion, we divide 60 billion of 10 billion to each geopolitical zone. Now, so this 60 billion, that means each geopolitical zone will have 10 billion. Luckily in the Southeast, we have only 5 states, so each state will get 2 billion. So that other remaining 40 billion, we will now use it to augment certain areas we believe there's need for further intervention. But the 60 billion is practically relating to our constituents. So in the case of Enugu State, for instance, if we have about 2 billion for Enugu State, now the members of the National Assembly there will now sit down and agree that this is how it will be distributed. The first time we started this, I think in 2008, what we did was to put the whole 2 billion of our Enugu State fund to the development of the Enugu Airport. That was the seed money upon which the Enugu International Airport started. So what we now do, we now divide that constituency by constituency. So if, for instance, my own constituency is supposed to get, say, let's say 150 billion. Is this 150 billion, I'll now go and say, okay, River Basin Authority, I'm going to give you people this 150 billion, use it to provide roads in Agbobowa, in Uji River, in Amoli, in Abogugu, in Atumpu, or somewhere in Ogu. So we now distribute 20 million or 5 million, 10 million. So they will now generate contractors who will now come and bid for these roads. So when they give them these roads, they are awarded to them. My own is to make sure that this road is done. So when the contractor gets it, when he gets a certificate, they will pay him. So next year, when the another 100 million come, I will now look at the ones we've completed and the ones that are remaining. And then we'll put 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, 50, depending on the ongoing ones. And then the following year, so they will now improve if they have done 1 kilometer this year, the next year they will do 2 kilometers. So that's how it's been funded. No parliamentarian receive a kobo as a constituency project. It is possible that there are some people who go and use their companies to do it, you know. So I'm not going to say that was sense, but for me, I don't do any such thing, and I challenge any person to show one project going on anywhere which has my name or my relation or someone doing on my behalf that's linked to it.
Our distinguished senator is the chairperson on the review of the 1999 Constitution, which is chairing for a second time. So I'd like questions in that area. Okay, the gentleman at the back, you'll be raising your hand.
Yeah, people here say they have questions.
Thank you. No, you've asked a question before. Let's take questions from people who haven't asked.
Okay.
The guy in front, yes, I'll take your question. Go on.
My name is Santos Okereke. I'm a social worker. I live here in Enugu. I was born and bred here. And I usually don't ask a question about where people come from because of the issue of indigenization. And that's exactly where I want to ask my question. It's been a very big concern. And I don't know if you know it, that a lot of us who are born in elsewhere, not just Enugu, are seriously being marginalized because we don't really have access that other people have. I can't, for instance, go to Abia State, where the book said I am from, to do anything because I don't know anybody there. Here in Enugu, where I know people, I was born and I grew up here and I pay my tax, I employ people here, I don't have access to basic political things. In the issue of a constitutional review, the House of Rep have okayed indigenization. The Senate, I don't know their stand on that.
Well, you see, I have a problem with over legislation. Our constitution is clear, and that nobody should be discriminated against because of the state of origin, in the circumstances of his birth, the state, his tribe, or religion. So when people are saying, who put in the constitution that if you are in Abuja for 30 years or 1 year, then you are qualified, there's nothing like that. The constitution is clear on it. What has happened that we fail, that when they say in Enugu, when an indigenous is paying 100 naira, you should pay 200. You go to court and challenge it. Because court says you cannot be challenged because of where you're coming from. Or you want to run an election in Enugu, and somebody says you're not from Enugu. You go to the court and challenge it using the constitutional provision. No issue of putting indigenous, there's nothing like that. That's why when the House passed it, it was a major thing in the Constitutional Amendment Committee I chair. And I told them that as a constitutional lawyer, I cannot support that kind of legislation because we will be wasting our time, because it's clear in the Constitution that the issue of indigenization has to be settled.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Well, we are coming to an end of the program, but before we do wrap up, Senator Ekweremadu, do you have any final comments for the audience?
Well, I'd like to thank the organizers. Please avail my other colleagues the opportunity to share with their constituents, what's going on, both at the National Assembly, maybe at the State Assembly, and at the national level. As I answer your question, I'm also learning from you. So I think that this kind of conversation is healthy for democracy, and we must find a way of keeping it. Thank you.
This has been another of our Talk Your Own town hall meetings, where Nigerians get to talk their own with leaders and decision makers. Our guest today in Enugu has been Deputy Senate President, Senator Ekweremadu. He has answered a range of questions from his constituents on constituency projects, jobs, constitution review, accessibility to his people, among others. Thank you, Senator Ekweremadu. And thank you to our audience here in the hall who talked their own today. From Enugu State, I'm Uche Nnogo. Join us next week for another edition of Talk Your Own, Make Niger Better.
Talk Your Own has been made with funding from the UK Department for International Development.